Great. So you can see the title of my presentation, and it's how coming to China brought about a change of life. All right? Everything will be renewed. All right? Specifically, let's talk about it. All right, I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old. I'm currently 76, so that's a long time. And I played for a long time. I played as a kid, as a teenager, in what were called garage bands. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it was, you had to play somewhere. And usually, your parents didn't want you to play in the house. So you'd have to go out and play in the garage. And you could shut the door and it wouldn't be as disturbing. I did that for about 10 years. And then finally I said, okay, music's always going to be part of my life, but it's not really going to be the main focus. And I went to school and got a bachelor's and a master's and a PhD. I'm a sociologist, although I don't teach that. And then I came to China in 2005. And 1 year after I came, I started to do something that I had never done before. Because when I was playing music, I always played other people's music. And then suddenly, 2006, that changed. And I wrote the first of what I called my musical stories from my Chinese journey, which is now about 80 songs or so. That's the renewal, and since that time I've performed in 17 provinces, on TV, on the internet, on radio, all kinds of things. So, my first let me show you a picture. This is me at 10. And I've labeled the people. In the middle was my friend Bob, and on the right the girl was Carol, and we were all playing guitar. And I don't know, people look at that and they say, what was that look on your face? Did you see that? And I have to admit, I have no idea what was going on. But, so I arrived in China in 2005, and although I live in Beijing, and I've lived here since 2007, my first destination was not Beijing. It was the city of Huai'an in Jiangsu province. This is the teacher's college where I taught for my first 2 years in China. And over here, this is the beautiful memorial for Premier Zhou Enlai. That was his hometown. And that's actually why I went there, because I knew some about Chinese history, but I didn't know about geography. And I taught there for 2 years, and I wanted to stay longer. But when I went in and told the school, they said, sorry, we only hire foreign language teachers for 2 years. So I went back to my apartment, and I had been playing guitar every day, but I mostly wasn't doing a lot of singing at that time. And 3 hours later, I had found I had written a song. And it reflected what I saw all around me. Some days, I would see an empty lot, and 2 or 3 weeks later, there'd be a functioning restaurant there. Right? Things were changing so rapidly. Places where people were living were improving. Everything was getting better. And I wrote this song, which called Huai'an, Promise of the Future. It's actually longer than this, but I'm going to share a little bit with you. Out upon the Jiangsu plain lies the city of Huai'an. It's a place I'm proud to call my home. Sitting on the Grand Canal, it's rich with history. And it's the promise of the future that means so much to me. And it's is the hometown of Zhou Enlai, New China's first premier. A man is loved and honored in places far and near. With growth and progress all around, the vista's bright ahead. It was the promise of the future for which Premier Zhou led. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to give you a little taste of a few of my songs. Okay, so after I was told I couldn't teach in Huai'an anymore, I had already decided I was going to stay after my first year. So I applied for jobs all over China, and I got 18 job offers. And I didn't know what to do. But I ended up finally deciding. And for the past 17, almost 17 and a half years, I have been teaching at, oh, no, not yet, sorry. Okay, in 2011, while I moved to Beijing, and in 2011 I was back in Huai'an because Huai'an cuisine is one of the 8 major cuisines in China, and every year they have an annual food festival, and they invited me back to sing this song. Okay, once I moved to Beijing, I encountered a group of people which is known as the Huai'an Business Club. And there were people from the military, the PLA, there were people from universities, there were people from government, and business people. And they were meeting every year, and I met some people associated with that club, and they invited me to come as a guest and to perform. And I did that 2 years in a row. And after I sang the song, right, the host, who was a good friend, Fang Qingzhuo, the actress, got up on stage and recited the lyrics in Chinese. So afterwards, this woman on the left, whose name is Zhou Bingda, she's Zhou Enlai's niece, and she got up on stage with her brother and toasted me with a little glass of baijiu and said, "I can't imagine a more beautiful poem about China being written by a foreigner." And in 2013, Zhou Bingda arranged for me to perform my song at Guozhai Daijingyuan in the Opera House, and at the 115th birthday celebration of Zhou Enlai's birthday. Okay, so I mentioned I had moved to Beijing by this time, and the place that I went, I had to decide a lot of different schools. I came to Beijing. I had 2 job offers in Beijing. I didn't really expect to stay in Beijing, but I finally decided I was going to, and I came to teach at Zhongyang Minzu Daxue. I think everybody's heard of Minzu Daxue, but a lot of people don't really understand what it is. 50% of our undergraduate students are from one or another of the 55 Chinese Xiaxu Minzu. All right? And we have students and faculty from all 56 Chinese ethnic groups. And people can study all kinds of things. You can study international finance, but you can study ecology, but specialties are like ecology of minority areas. You can study criminal law, international law, but the specialty is the law of Minzu areas and so on, as well as cultural activities like dancing and singing and music, as well as a variety of different minority languages in China. And as you can see, these are various festivals. They're Huang people. This is an Yitu Spring Festival celebration. This is Guorbang Muslim Festival. And I participated, was invited to come all of the time. And I would do that. And I learned a tremendous amount, not only about Chinese culture, but the diversity of Chinese cultures. And of course, I wrote a song. Oh, sorry. 我的民族大学生。I teach English in China at Zhongyang Minzu Daxue. Oh, what a sight, so colorful and so bright, with the Minzu on display. With the Minzu on display. The students come from all across the land, from every Chinese nationality. They study with each other and are proud of their own culture, while working always to build unity. Again, I'm just going to give you a little bit. Okay, so 2009. Guess what I did? October of 2009, I went on Xinguang Dadao, Star Road. And they have foreigners on it, but I was the only foreigner who didn't speak Chinese to ever appear on that show. I was the oldest person to appear, and I was the only university teacher who was on there. So those three things are why they wanted me on. And I think everybody's familiar with Xinguang Dadao, but a lot of people don't understand. It's two shows. On the one hand, it is a talent show. And on the other hand, it's an entertainment show. And CCTV decides whether your performance is entertaining. So they have really tight control over what you do. So, you can't see, but in back of me, there are 3 Chinese girl singers, because they said, a guitar alone, it's a big stage, too boring. So you gotta get 3 female singers, all right? So we had to find them and teach them the song, and none of them had ever sung together, and none of them spoke any English or had ever sung an English song. So we had a lot of work to prepare them. But I managed to come in second in the weekly competition, and this was the song that I sang. That was my last song. Like when the moon controls the sky, my love for you I can't deny. With your every wish I will comply, just for you, my lovely Asian eyes. On the day we met, you stole my heart. I knew from you I would never part. As our love grew, it was no surprise. Just for you, my lovely Asian eyes. Okay, now we're not done with this song. They had a rule for me. Right? Any of you could go and sing a song, Chinese song, English song, whatever. And the rule for me was any song I sang either had to be a Chinese song or it had to have some English in it. So we had to find somebody to translate. And then I had to learn it. 就像月亮照亮夜空，我对你的爱毫无保留，我会答应你的每个请求，不该压着双眸。Okay, now let's go on here. Let's go on. So, none of this would I have been able to do by myself. And I was very fortunate that in March of 2007, when I came for an interview at Men's Dashwai, I met the person who became first my closest friend, and then she became my agent when I decided I wanted to perform. And then she, as you will see, she is an erhu player, so she became my musical partner. And we formed a duo. The Chinese name is Shou Hua Hui Zhong. The English name is Inside Out. Her name is Fu Han, and Jessie knows. Jamie knows her. So, and she was responsible for very much of what I was able to do. So here we are performing. This is a very big show that we did several places, several universities. It's called East Meets West, the story of Fu Han Markovine and the story of Inside Out. This is from Zhang Jiajia. All right, for 2009, 2011, 13, they had what was called the International Country Music Week. And we were invited. I'm the only person who played at all three of those. And in the final year, she had joined me, and we sang. This is an area where the predominant minority group are the Tujia people. And we sang a song in the Tujia dialect. And when they heard we were going to do that, they placed us, it's a week-long celebration, and hundreds of international performers. And the first 4 hours of the first day are televised live. So they had us as the opening act, and then they contacted different factories that made Tujia clothing, and they made this custom-made clothing for us. Okay, one of the things, I've been in 31 provinces, I've been in cities, I've been countryside, and I had the good fortune of visiting Fu Han's family. It's her father, this is a neighbor, we have an ox here. In 2009, I was there for 9 days, and in 2010, I spent a month at Spring Festival and on their farm. At one point, I was so cold, I was ready to go home. And then finally I said, "You're crazy. Who else has an experience like this? You should stay here." So it was a wonderful time. And I think it's the source of 2 or 3 different songs. And I'll play a little bit of one here. Well, there's a country music story growing in my mind. In front of me are the farmer's fields and the forest lands behind. Walking around and the beauty's clear, it ain't something you can hide.